Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your April forecast for Gemini Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Gemini, it looks as if you are working on some kind of agreement, something that has to do with what's expected or some kind of commitment. You are represented by the Knight of Cups and unfortunately the Five of Swords. Not one of my favorite cards. Now, the Knight of Cups could be water energy. Perhaps you have strong water in your chart, or you're connected to somebody with water. This could be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or perhaps just the traits of this Knight. So for some of you, you're feeling very emotionally sensitive. You want to offer something to your partner. This is a Knight who's very romantic. And he has he knows exactly how to woo his partner, how to say the right words, how to get what he wants. He's very seductive. And so you may be taking on those qualities. You may be very magnetic right now. And he's also aware of just the right moment to set the scene for a sexual encounter. So again, you may be trying to tempt someone. You may be trying to seduce someone. You're putting something out on offer. And again, you're feeling very emotional. This could be a month where maybe you're realizing how much you are into somebody. And maybe you stepped into a situation and you really gave over to it. You fell completely in love with this person. Maybe you weren't intending to, or maybe things really took off and you didn't expect it to go there, and it has. But with this Five of Swords, it says that whatever you're putting on offer, you're having difficulty presenting that to your partner. You may be going in circles with regard to something, either to begin it or to end it. And the Knight of Cups, is not altogether honest. Now, that may mean some real dishonesty, or it could just be you're playing your cards close to your chest. You're not sharing everything. You or your partner are not being completely open and honest with each other. And you end up going in circles. It could be that, there's some competitiveness, or you've got to have the last word. You may be having difficulty forming some kind of agreement, and one of you may decide to walk away. There could be, some kind of humiliation or a sense of defeat. Could even be, again, deceit or some treachery. So you've been going in circles with this no-win situation. Now, for some of you, you may be trying to get things to go your way. You're working in your own interests. You want to, maybe there's something on offer, or you're offering something to your partner and you're saying, this is how it's going to be. It's not going to be any other way, so you can take it or leave it. So, you're dealing with something, and it may have to do with revealing something about the past. Maybe you're trying to work through a situation where you need to release some old conditioning, some old habits, so that you can open up to a new relationship, or so that growth can occur in your current relationship. For some of you, this is going to mean letting go of an ex, or trying to conclude some old situation, but it appears you're having some difficulty in doing so. Now, your partner is represented by the Hierophant and the Page of Coins. So this is earth energy. It could be Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits connected with this page. But with the Hierophant here, there's a strong emphasis on Taurus. But this is about doing what is expected. So your partner's very focused on commitment, perhaps marriage. Some of you may be making some plans. Maybe you're planning to get married. Maybe you're planning a wedding or some type of important ceremony. For some of you, there's some kind of effort being made, or your partner wants some kind of effort with regard to a tangible expression of your love. Maybe somebody's looking for a ring, or they want to see, something that you're going to give them that shows a token of your affection. Maybe there's some flirting taking place. Again, your issue is commitment and doing what is expected, following through on some kind of demands, doing what we as a consensus feel is appropriate, the right thing to do, whether you're coloring within the lines. Some of you, it may be that you need to be more original in your approach, or your partner does. Maybe your partner wants you to step out of your comfort zone. Maybe you follow convention too much, or your partner does. It could be that your partner is very dogmatic. Again, there's an issue of, are we going to do it my way or your way? So for some of you, this is a very productive period. Maybe, part of the focus could be dealing with religion or education. Maybe you're dealing with the government. Maybe you're dealing with banks. This is some kind of news that you receive that's tangible. Now, with the Page of Coins, maybe this is a dream lover, but somehow this person is unpredictable or even unavailable. They may not be doing what's expected. And it could be that you're just, all pages represent some form of inexperience because they're new. It's the youngest of the court cards. So it could be that there's some inexperience with regard to something, or you're exploring the early stages of a relationship, or your partner is. And maybe one of you has made a misjudgment. You thought this was love, or you thought the commitment was more stable. And it appears that perhaps you're on shaky ground. Now, positively, perhaps this is you trying to form some agreement with your partner. You have some shared goals. You're working towards something in common. Maybe, your partner's putting off love. Maybe you've been trying to offer something and you keep meeting with this brick wall because your partner's focused on something else. Could be finances, career, success, getting ahead, financial responsibilities. So for some of you, this is some kind of plan that has to do with commitment. Now, if things are not going well in your relationship, perhaps there is some dissension. It could be that you're dealing with rumors or accusations. They may involve you. Maybe you're just on the fringes watching this. But these are coming about because somebody is not following through. And they've done it one too many times. This is when you say, yes, I'm going to show up, or yes, I'm going to do this, or yes, I'm going to call you, or I'm going to text you, or whatever. And there's a failure to do so. And so this could be a period where you meet with some form of drama with your partner. And this may have to do with the romance connected. Maybe it has to do with children. Maybe they're making an impact on your relationship. Or maybe this is a new romance. Or maybe this is where you're dating somebody who's younger. Whatever it is, there's some kind of turning point in how you feel emotionally and how you are relating to your partner. So for some of you, maybe, your partner wants to get out into the community. Maybe, you want to mix and mingle with your partner. Maybe you've been stuck, focused on work responsibilities and you want to break out of a routine. And for some of you, maybe you're focused on, again, planning some kind of permanent future, doing those things that are tangible, taking the steps. Maybe you're focused on saving money together, or you want to build a home, or you want to buy a property, or there's something that both of you dream of, and you're now working toward it. So you're creating those bonds financially and emotionally that tie the two of you together. Now, for some of you, though, this is about not doing what's expected. It could be that somebody is looking outside. Their head is being turned by, greener grass. And for some of you, your partner may be attracted to somebody who probably is not going to deliver, or you are attracted to somebody who's not going to come through. But nevertheless, this is looking outside of the boundary of your relationship. Now, again, some of you, perhaps children are impacting your connection. It could be that you need to break out of the routine and be more romantic, more exuberant, more childlike in your expression, more playful. Some of you, maybe you're dating from somebody from childhood, or you're simply, again, this is a new romance or doing something new in romance. Now, your romance is characterized by this 10 of Wands and 7 of Cups. So, for some of you, this is about work, responsibilities, duties, obligations. And maybe there's some confusion about that. Following convention, doing what's expected, whether demands are being met. And it could be that one of you is distracted because there are too many things going on and you're trying to put your energy into too many places. Or perhaps your partner is. Others of you, you're working to figure out what you really want. Maybe one of you is looking outside of the relationship. There are a lot of options. You can choose or your partner can choose. For some of you, you're working towards something that ties to luxury. Maybe your partner is expecting something. Maybe you're working to buy a piece of expensive jewelry or something extravagant for your partner. For others of you, maybe you're working on an issue that is between you that may tie to drugs or alcohol, some obsession that you have. But in this deck, in many decks, the 10 of Wands, you see somebody carrying a load. It's heavy, they're resistant. But in this deck, this person seems to carry the load with ease, and they don't look particularly unhappy about it. So one of you may be taking on more of the responsibility. Perhaps you're willing to do that. But this is also saying that maybe you're double booking. You may accidentally double book 2 dates. You may have to create some balance between your work and your personal life. This is about getting your priorities right on the front end so that you're not playing catch up on the back end, because this is where you're just a little bit too late. And maybe if you have some issues with your partner, you were trying to make things go your way or vice versa, and there came a point where one of you decided, hey, I'll just walk away. You're just a little bit too late with these overtures or these gestures or what you're trying to do. Now, there also, for some of you, maybe your partner wants to be alone. Maybe, they're working on something that requires them to devote their energy to it, something creative where they may need to be isolated. So they may be sending you some messages that, I really need to focus on this, even though I know you want some romance, or maybe you want to go out, but I really got to put my attention toward this. And so either of you may feel maybe you need more time apart. Maybe you need your own personal space. Maybe you need some time alone with your partner. Or maybe you end up, because of circumstances, again, falling short, not coming through. You end up alone and not necessarily by choice. But what exactly is the problem in the relationship? And it comes back to this work, perhaps the opportunity for work. One of you may be trying to move up the ladder of success, or you may be devoting all of your time to something that you've really emotionally invested in. It's a labor of love for you. For some of you, though, again, you're working towards something together. You're making a large purchase. You're putting in something that establishes a foundation for you emotionally and financially. And you may be getting some help with that. Maybe you need some help. Maybe somebody hasn't been delivering on something. For some of you, you could have some extreme expenses, and maybe that's an issue. Somebody is carrying more of the load. Maybe you have some bills that have to be attended to, and it's having an effect on your relationship. There's also the possibility, again, where somebody's looking outside of the relationship. Maybe you're going to meet somebody new, or maybe there's a focus simply on the material. It could be that you have to be careful about why you're involved with one another. Is this about money, status, prestige, or is this really a love connection? There could be too much focus on the physical, the sexual, or the financial. And some of you, maybe you're trying to grow some opportunities and you feel like that's been blocked. This is also about being in a rut, which is easy to do with the Hierophant card, because this is a very conventional, dogmatic, stuck way of thinking or being. It's hard for this person. This is tied to Taurus, and it's hard. Taurus is a fixed sign. They're comfortable doing what they know, what feels safe and secure. So you may find yourself in the relationship in a rut. You could be doing the same things over and over. Maybe you're going over the same issues, the same conversations, the same routine, and maybe things have gotten a little bit stale. Maybe it's time to be a little bit more original, or maybe it's time to shift the focus away from the financial, or maybe you should be looking at whether you're with people because you have really aligned with your core values, or you're simply attracted to their physical presence or the sexuality. This is also about criticism and judgment, nitpicking, and nitpicking to death. You didn't do this correctly. You should have done it like this. Or I hate it when you always, or you never da 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 da. Whatever your beef is, because again, you have this Five of Swords, this no-win situation where one of you is very much stuck on, hey, we're either going to do it this way or we're not going to do it at all. Again, perhaps it is just you are trying to move something along, but you want to have greater harmony, greater peace. And there are some control issues, though. Somebody is being domineering or aggressive, or maybe there's a sense of entitlement, or somebody wants to be king or queen, and that's the problem. Now, the underlying influence, which is really what's driving this situation, why is this occurring, whether it's conscious, whether it's spoken or not, is you may want to move on from a situation, or at least create some beneficial changes. Perhaps this is a negative circumstance, could be a toxic situation, something abusive. For others of you, this is something mundane, like, crossing over to the other side of a situation. Maybe you're taking a trip, maybe it's over water, maybe it's overseas, maybe you're trying to go back to somewhere that you've been before, but you are revisiting something, some kind of issue, and you're having to look at situations where perhaps you misjudged. And not because you didn't have the experience, this is history repeating itself, where you continuously do something that sets you up to feel a disappointment. You invest emotionally in circumstances or people who have a tendency to let you down, to not do what is expected or what is demanded or required. But this is moving on, and it's going to require some patience on your part. And maybe you're trying to create beneficial changes in your passion, or maybe you've moved on from the passion of a relationship. This may have to do with the friendship, something that you thought had romantic potential, and yet it just never took off. It never moved beyond friendship. Or maybe this was a friendship and you made the attempt to turn it into a romance, and then that ruined the whole connection, period. Or it could be, that your friends are negatively influencing your relationship. So you are moving on perhaps from something that ties to a friend or friendship where maybe there was once some passion. Maybe you want to improve that, or you're moving on from it. The advice card is a relationship may just be fertilizer for future growth. So everything is not meant to be permanent. Some relationships are preparing us. They are working the foundation. They are adding the nutrients, the things that we've been missing, because they're giving us some kind of understanding. They're taking us to the next level so that we are prepared when we do meet the right person, or we are ready to have a relationship. So it sounds like something was just preparation for something that's going to come later. Now, the outcome is the Four of Wands and the Knight of Wands. So this is fire energy. This could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this knight. And with the Knight of Wands, there's a passion, a fire. This is a charismatic energy. And this is raring to go. Let's do this. But this is also a card of non-committal, perhaps just wanting to have fun. This person is very comfortable with the power that they hold. They attract like bees to honey. They know what to say. They're humorous. They're witty. They're passionate. They're fun. They're flirty. They're fiery. They know how to show you a good time. That may be you or somebody you were involved with. But this person is also very good at looking out for number one, and maybe too much so. And this is even more emphasized with the Four of Wands because this is Venus in Aries. This is, I relate from my own vantage point, which has to do very much so with this Five of Swords. It's my way or not at all. So this is about setting the foundation. Maybe there's a lack of commitment to really laying the foundation. Some of you, this is about commitment where maybe you're changing residence. Maybe you got married, maybe you're moving in together, you're setting up house, you're buying a property. But for others of you, this is about, putting in that effort. And it was a no-win situation. No matter what you did, what you presented, how you tried to make it better, your partner wasn't pleased, or vice versa. And so this is about a lack of faith, a lack of belief that somebody is going to open up to love. Maybe that's you, or maybe that's the other person. And it comes down to timing. Timing perhaps was off. Something that you thought was going to be a success or a win failed to deliver. Or some of you, maybe it ended up in marriage. You didn't give much thought to it, and somehow or another it turned into something. So with the spiritual card here in reverse, this says that there's a lack of faith or a lack of belief in something. Maybe you don't share the same spiritual values. Maybe there's too much focus on the material and you've left the spiritual behind. But there's a need to open up to love. There's been a lack of commitment perhaps to making progress or creating the right circumstances for a foundation. Or maybe you need to, change how you feel about something in order to create a better circumstance with regard to love. For some of you, this page of coins, where is the page of coins? This page of coins, that's the focus, this Four of Wands. So the plans that are being made, it could be plans for some kind of celebration or social gathering, like a wedding, a ceremony of some sort, moving in together, plans to buy a house, plans for property. But it could be, again, some area for some of you where there's been some unreliability, unpredictability with regard to something. So that's the focus for this page. You also have one major card. That is the Hierophant. So your partnerships, commitment, doing what is expected, and in some cases sharing what you have to give with others. And whether those expectations are realistic or there are too many demands, you're likely to, again, meet with some kind of drama in your relationships. And it's centering on your connections to others, agreements, partnerships, confusion over agreements, or perhaps creative differences or creative agreement, an agreement to go out and have a drink. But there's some dilemma that you have to face. There's some uncertainty about something. You're not sure. And maybe you feel like you can't trust your intuition. Maybe you're closing off to the truth. Maybe you're conflicted about it. Maybe you don't have the information that you need to move forward and make that commitment. So there's some uncertainty where either you or the partner is sitting on the fence. If friends are playing a negative role, it could be that they're interfering somehow, that they are creating conflict between you and your partner, or you're trying to reconcile some kind of differences. But there are definitely discussions that tie to the future, and it may have to do with some form of commerce or trade or expenses. And perhaps there's some issue in the relationship because you have to focus on what is your most immediate concern, which may be financial or creating some security or stability. Unfortunately, in this reading, you have a number of fives, and fives always indicate some kind of instability. So something is tied to accidents or losses of some kind. And there's a delay that you're going to experience. There's some decision that is important, and yet it can't be rushed. Maybe it has to do with expenses or moving or commitment or marriage. And there's a focus on the benefits that come through other people, some form of favor. So this is going to be a month of challenging developments because of the changes in your plans. And it's going to tie to your security, stability, your sense of permanence, where you stand with a situation. And you may find yourself being very assertive and trying to enforce your ideas. There could be issues of dogmatism, again, control issues, being very authoritarian. And this ties to some aspect of your domestic or daily life, work, health, how you're running your affairs. And you do have the opportunity here to repair some aspect of that or improve it, or at least get some clarity about it. All right, Gemini, I hope you enjoyed this reading and make some positive changes in your relationship. Create a love revolution.